And yes, we're live. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for noticing that we had the wrong link in the invite. Should be fixed now. Could be that a couple more persons are joining halfway, but everyone who's here, great that you found your way. And welcome to the 8th edition of XR Valley's Tech Espresso. My name is Pia, the host of this webinar. And in case you're here for the first time, this webinar is a monthly moment where we gather the XR community in Belgium, and especially those who are actively building XR. We're exploring here the latest developments in the space, see what's happening, have cool projects on stage, but not only the new tech, also the challenges and opportunities that come with it. Today we are joined by Tom Hameeuw, who is the founder of the PAC Studio in Belgium, and he will be talking about deploying XR in broadcasting specifically. He will do this through showcasing the project OASIS, which is an experiment in innovating XR film and FVX pipelines and how these are actively transforming the way that stories are actually told. I'm going to let the further introduction to himself. As always, if you have questions during the presentation, you can drop them in the chat box that you see next to the stream here, and we will address them after the keynote. I'm giving the floor to Tom now, so please enjoy the stream.
Yes, hello there.
Hello.
Thank you all for attending, and thanks to XR Valley for the invitation. I just had my beautiful camera dropping out, so I'm going now with my the camera from my laptop. Always ready for a backup plan. So I will start sharing my presentation for today. There we go. If everything's fine, you should see the first slides. So welcome to this Tech Espresso. Today I want to show you how XR is unleashing new storytelling opportunities. So to start with a word on our company, I'm the co-founder of a company called The Pack. We come from the world of television, cinema, advertising, and also real-time content. That's why I'm invited today to talk here. So our background is really the creation of content and the creation of immersive experiences. So our background, where we started out, is the post-production for cinema and television. Then the visual effects, meaning everything that is not possible in real life, explosions, this kind of stuff. Also doing animation, and by looking into what was happening in the world of the gaming industry and the real-time engines, that's the way we also started producing actually XR and immersive content, and why we also started developing our in-house software, something I will talk about a bit later. But as we come from the world of television and cinema, I will let the images speak a bit for themselves, so it gives you an idea on the kind of projects we work on. It's a broad range going from cinema to commercials, immersive, gaming. But let's look together at a couple of images. So the company and our team is at the crossroad of engaging storytelling, high-end, beautiful images, and then also the use of new technology, hardware, and software. And this comes from our idea, new vision actually on content, not thinking about we as creatives are only creating experience or content for only television or only cinema, but trying to start from the IP or the ID, and then also making sure that you can distribute or engage with your audience on very different ways of distribution or ways of engaging with your audience and going as broad as possible. And also the idea where we start from is to start reusing what we create on different platforms. So what we create for television, reuse it for an immersive experience, reuse it for a game. So that's a bit the mindset where we start from. And today, I would like to take you on a journey of a very specific case study called the OASIS program. It's actually a program that was funded by the Flemish government. The idea of our government was to bring together companies and people from different backgrounds with different experiences and different knowledge, and to let them share their knowledge together. So in this case, we work together with VRT, Sputnik, our company, the PAC, Uncanny, and then DAE, the research center from West, the gaming school in Kortrijk. And the idea, as I said, is bringing together people from the media and the gaming industry to let them exchange their knowledge, tools, and insights on how they experience content, how they make it. And also to get in touch with the way each of the partners is creating their content. Within that project, which lasted for 2 years, rather quickly we started working around a specific use case, a series in development by the production company Sputnik, called the Bowman Boss. And the Bowman Boss is actually a TV series in development, so it's not yet there. And within that series, we dive into a miniature world. The series is actually happening inside this little bowl of glass, a terrarium where you also have some plants. And actually, what we discover that this bowl of glass, which is placed in a girl's bedroom, actually inside of it there is a huge world, and a lot of things are happening there. So you have people living inside the bowl, and then everything what happens outside the bowl in the girl's bedroom has an impact on the world inside of it. So for example, if the girl is moving her lamp, then for them it will be like, wow, there is like a heating wave, or we have like the sun eclipse, this kind of stuff. So everything what is happening outside has an impact on the world inside the bowl. The idea of the series actually is to teach kids that everything we do also has an impact on the environment. And the idea was, together with the project members, think about what is the best way of approaching this series. How is the best way to bring the message, to film it, or to maybe completely create it in 3D, like animated Disney movie, or are we going to film real actors? So this was a bit the starting point on what is the best approach to tell the story. And these are some of the visuals, what it is like to be inside the terrarium. So it's not that you live in this miniature world, it's like a real world. We want to take the audience into a real world, but of course a bit fantasy-like. So this is a bit the mood the director wants to give to the worlds that we discover inside the terrarium. You have woods, you have a bit of desert, there is a sea, so it's really a bit similar to our real world. And the first thing we actually did, as the goal of this project was to bring together the worlds from broadcast also in gaming, is to create a first mini game, and to create a bridge between the virtual worlds and the physical world. And we showcased it at the Unwrap Festival at West. And actually, it's a kind of a hide and seek game whereby two players can play together. One is having a VR goggles on the head. The other player is just having a traditional game controller. And the idea is that the person with the VR goggles is going to try to catch the other one. Um, the nice thing about it is that it's also engaging the audience. It means the people standing around the people playing, they can also see what is happening because we displayed it on a big LED wall. So it also created a bridge between the players and people watching it, the audience. And it's also an idea of opening up a world that is created for a TV series into like a real life experience whereby kids or adult kids can still explore the world of a TV series in real life. Um, and then we got further into the experience together with the director of what he thinks is important for his storytelling and what we think of as being good technologies to bring this world to life. And it was really like a teamwork, and it was really a nice experience bringing somebody. The director is Tom Goris, director of Knock and Off and some other famous TV shows, but somebody who has no experience with really animation or new technologies or immersive or gaming, but also to go into dialogue with a creative more from a traditional broadcasting background, and then thinking together on what is a good approach. Because his first idea was to put real actors before the LED wall, so the virtual production. Um, and we said to him, like, yeah, it's a nice idea because you have real actors, you can place them in a virtual world, so you combine the real world and the virtual world. But it also gives you limitations because you need to stick to what is filmed. And once the shooting is over, you cannot recreate new content because you need to put the actors again in the studio. It costs a lot of money. You're also limited because you don't have virtual characters. So going into gaming, augmented reality, virtual reality is more difficult. And then he said, like, yeah, but for me as a director, it's really important to catch the emotions from my actors and also the playing of my real actors, the interaction they have during a shooting. I want to catch the spark between the actors. So how do we bring that then into a virtual world? And then we suggested that maybe the so-called avatar approach or using the mocap technology might be a good solution, combining his expectations with more possibilities into the virtual world. And this is, yeah, what we started putting in place then. So the first step, as it was also the one goal of the project to test new technologies, is that we did tests with all the available mocap, motion capture technologies. So motion capture, for those who don't know, is whereby with technology you're going to capture the motions of a real person and then applying it onto a virtual or 3D character. So we tested like Move AI, new tools, more old school tools, and eventually, after all the testing, it came out that the OptiTrack was still giving us the best results. We really pushed the technology by having like a real ballet dancer doing very complicated movements and then seeing which of the technological tools gave us the best results. And what we did then was live bringing the mocap data into Unreal, applying it to the meta-humans of Unreal, and then start building the virtual worlds in Unreal. A second technology that we tested, because you have two elements in the TV series. One is when you're inside the terrarium, inside the bowl of glass. Second one is when you're still in the bedroom of the girl and what is happening in the real world, so to say. And to to capture actually the room, we started testing Gaussian splatting. So taking with LiDAR a lot of photographs, and then start training with Gaussian splatting to recreate in 3D the room of the girl. The idea there, as the story of the TV series, is that what is happening in the girl's room has an impact on the virtual world, what is happening in the terrarium, that we could use the Gaussian splats a bit like the sky in our real world. If you have clouds, you will feel it. The light intensity is different. So this allows us also on a technological level to let the room of the girl have an impact on the virtual worlds where we discover the world of Bolmabos. And we started doing the shooting at the mocap studio from DAE Research and West in Kortrijk. So some words on the director. I already introduced him. Tom Goris, knock it off. What the fuck, gevoel voor tumor. So renowned director from Flanders. And then actors that also have a real experience with live action. Not that much with new technologies, being Femke, who starred also in What the Fuck. And same for Willem. So this team was then present at our mocap shoot. And we have some images that we can share here together with you. The nice thing for the partners and the members of this project OASIS, also being VRT, is that a person being renowned like Tom Goris, a director with a good track record, he came at the day of the shooting and then looked at the more technical team, saying like, "Hey guys, today I'm the virgin here, so I'm gonna listen to you. Tell me how to do this." And the good thing that for everybody, also the actors, it's like they really opened up their minds of the possibilities, what you can do with new technologies. Because as you see, we also put like iPhones in front of the actors, whereby on a different track we filmed their faces. This allows us afterwards to easily create new content by just filming with an iPhone the same actor or a different actor, and by that allows us to create additional content at very low costs without having to go again on a real shooting with an entire crew inside a studio, which costs a lot of money. It allows us also to easily create other language versions. This was a real specific demand from Sputnik. Sputnik being a Flemish production company specializing in Flemish content, but they also have the ambition to distribute their content into different languages. So it was really like trying to also create new opportunities thanks to the use of technology, both on a creative and a productional level. And we had a lot of fun as well during the shooting for everyone. So as you see here, this is the DOP. He uses an iPad as a camera, but it allows also both the cameraman and the DOP, the one who is in charge of filming it, and the director to live have a visualization of what they're filming inside Unreal, inside the virtual world. So really trying to bring all these worlds immediately together. So yeah, this is a video about what we did before on the testing on how to use the mocap data and porting these data live into Unreal, as I just explained, to allow the directors to immediately see the results of the acting inside the virtual world. And this is a small example of the Gaussian splatting that we've been testing of the girl's bedroom. One of the learnings we took there is if there is a lot of relief, it works. If you see like the flat white wall, you see like this almost dirty spots on the wall. So it means today the technique of Gaussian splatting is very good when you have like perspective or relief. But if you have a flat white wall, the result is not yet that nice. This being said, the test was done almost a year ago, so the result today might already be different. And this is a small movie showcasing a bit also the different steps and some of the final images that we produced within the research project called OASIS.
On the match made in heaven. Ja, dat is heel bijzonder om te doen. Challenge succeeded, zou ik zeggen.
And also very nice to see teams with different backgrounds coming together and each taking up a part of the work. So that's a bit our story of combining new technologies with storytelling and how to enhance stories by using new technology. And this is also how our company ended up creating an own software tool that we developed in-house that we called Sync. Normally, if my webcam works, there is also a nice banner behind me. So we created this software and this tool to really facilitate the multi-platform approach of creating one time your assets, your characters, everything you need to tell a story, and then start reusing them on different experiences or different platforms. So actually, it's a software that builds a bridge between industry standard softwares from the animation industry and the 3D industry, broadcast and cinema, and then porting it into the world of real time, being in our case Unity and Unreal. Also going to web to allow at very low costs to give access through WebGL or websites to experiences and content. And actually, the tool also gives us a kickstart in starting to implement AI tools, as we are actually managing all the 3D assets in the database of Sync and also all the metadata linked to each and every item that is used in the content production workflow. So it easily allows us now to start integrating AI tools. So what I explained in the previous slide, it's a bit of middleware between industry standard softwares. We use APIs, so we can also easily plug in new tools. The idea is to be future-proof and to create a tool that is ready for the future. Thanks to Sync, for different projects, we offer to our clients to go from one platform to another. This is the case of an animated cinema movie, so think Disney, where we started having a feature film, and from the feature film we went into virtual reality experience. We also went into a web experience, so it's really reusing what is created to tell a story and offer it on very different platforms. But we are not only working for television and cinema, we also use our knowledge and also the Sync technology for our commercial clients. So this case is Danone. Danone, who approached us to create an immersive experience for people visiting their R&D center. It's their R&D center in Paris, in France. So all the new visitors, but also for the onboarding of new employees. They invite their visitors or their new employees to go into these booths and to experience a virtual reality experience that tells what and why and how Danone is performing scientific research in their labos. And actually, they were very happy with the results because, in their own words, they say like, our visitors really better understand our story because they're really immersed in the story. We capture their attention, and it's not like a scientific researcher giving a boring PowerPoint presentation, because we tried to make it like a more engaging story and also to capture the attention of the people that go into this VR experience. And also here I have some images that show a bit what we have done for Danone. So here you dive into a pot of yogurt and then you're inside the human body. Of course, we didn't go for a realistic approach. It's more like a Star Wars, and you fly through the intestines to the human body. And then in a voiceover, you hear the story about Danone performing scientific research and why it's good for your health and your body. And another small case is our client AB InBev, also exploring the opportunities of augmented reality in their case to make remote calls like this one more sexy, more attractive. But both the PAC and XR Valley have less budget than AB InBev, so we do it in a more traditional way. But we delivered for AB InBev an auditorium in Leuven with cameras allowing them to track in 3D the room and to add like graphical content to a call like this, whereby you can let appear images and graphical content around the presenter. And the LED wall installed there seems small on the picture, but it's 10 by 2. So it's like a pretty big room. So we focus there on AR possibilities, but also on a perfect user experience. Anyone from the company can enter the room, connect the laptop and start playing and start presenting as I'm doing today in like a high-tech environment without technical support. So really offering plug-and-play tools to clients. This is our mindset at the PAC, both with the sync technology as with these kind of projects to really make technology as accessible as possible. And this is like a little proof of concept. It's not the final results, but to, in a call, let appear images around a presenter. And they're also a bit the same mindsets. If you create assets, if you create content for one purpose, let's start reusing it on different communication platforms instead of for each time each communication team starts recreating the same assets. So also there, the double mindsets, one making it accessible, and on the other hand, making it more efficient, making it more cost efficient, and creating a bigger return on investment for the clients or the projects. So yeah, this was a bit the insights I wanted to share with you today in this Tech Espresso. I hope it was a bit clear, but I'm still here to listen if some of the people joining the Espresso today still have questions or want me to go a bit more into detail, or if you have a more technical question, I'm still here to reply them.
Hello. Joining. Thank you for your presentation. Super cool. Let's see if there's some questions. In the meantime, I do have one or two questions, if you don't mind. My first one is I might have missed it, but is there still somewhere a possibility to experience or to see OASIS at this moment? or has it already passed?
At this moment, it passed. So it was like a research project funded by the Flemish government to bring companies together and to start exploring new technologies. So the output we created is still there, but the TV series that we used as a case study, so to say, is still in development. So maybe you can discover it in a couple of years on television.
Would hope so, because it looked very, very cool. I would love to see it. So yeah, let's cross our fingers for that. Maybe a question that sort of ties into that is, do you see like these new production pipelines in XR, do you see that they would eventually maybe replace everything that's being done usually now in broadcasting and mainstream media, or do you see it like as additional and they continue to evolve together maybe?
As very often with new technologies, I think it will replace some parts of what we are used to. But one of the key things we learn, and also on a day-to-day basis, is we remain human. So it was also the approach of Tom as a director. Like for me, human interaction is the most important part of the way I want to tell stories. So for me, I hope and I think that's a part that's there to stay. But if, for example, what VRT is already doing today is creating a virtual studio whereby the news and some of their live broadcasting shows, the studio is completely virtual. So the only thing that is real is the table and the chairs, and all the rest is completely handled by LED walls. So I think more and more we will see these kind of ways where you have hybrid combinations of parts being in augmented or extended reality, in parts remaining live. This was also our approach towards AB InBev, a company like AB InBev. For their internal communication, it's about bringing together their colleagues, their employees. Then I don't think, for example, virtual reality is a good approach, because you create a barrier between people, and they want people to engage more. So this is why we came up with a solution to make hybrid meetings like this one a bit more attractive, to also engage people that are not present in a physical location, and to bring together to a maximum their employees, and to share like an experience. So I think, yes, it will play more and more role in the way we communicate and the way we tell stories. But replacing humans, I hope and I think it will not happen that soon.
I would hope so too, and I think that's also the core of stories, right? How we connect as humans. So
yeah,
I think also along with you that it will remain the center. Let's hope so. I have one more question actually. Do you have any future projects coming up with the pack that you can share a little bit about as well, or still all secret?
yeah. A lot of our projects that we are currently working on are a bit under NDA, so it's always hard to tell about what we are up to before it's out in the open. But we are continuing in a bit on the same paths, using real-time or game technology to create feature films. It's one of our main, in World of XR, one of our main activities. And then also what I showed on the more commercial part for commercial companies is also taking them and advising them on how to implement new technologies, both in their internal communications or the way they work. A lot of times we are involved with the digital workplace. Companies thinking on how digitalization and XR can help them to improve the way they work on a day-to-day basis. So these we are implementing for a couple of clients. And another thing on the more innovative parts is that we still also go for innovation projects, and there our focus is really on implementing and integrating AI tools in really production workflows. So what we see that AI now is all over the place, and I think almost everybody is using it. We just had a workshop today with all our colleagues here at the PAC. And out of a survey, it shows that almost 100% of our own employees is using AI. But for our company, I don't know how it is in other places, but it's still a bit fragmented. So we're not into the Microsoft tool belt. So I know a lot of companies use Copilot. We are more on the Google suite. So everything that is offered inside the Microsoft or the Google suite, that is often shared and used by colleagues. But once you start using it for image or video, you see that it's still pretty fragmented.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to try to do now is to really implement the use of AI on a day-to-day production workflow. And that's still not so easy. Of course, it's doable, but you have a lot of aspects there. In our case, as we are content makers, as we create content, also the legal aspects on the copyright parts are pretty important, both for us and for our clients, because you don't want to deliver like a movie to your client and then having the risk of having a copyright lawsuit. So a lot of aspects come together there. And what we also try to do as a company coming from the creative business is implement AI in an ethical way. And we start collaborating with also the research centers from universities, putting in place research projects to integrate that into our sync technology and in workflows in general. So that's a bit, what we are up to at the PAC, and that we think is very interesting, challenging, sometimes a bit worrying. But it keeps it keeps us also gives us a drive, so to say.
Exactly, it keeps you engaged also. Yeah, awesome, really cool stuff coming up. I'm curious. I would say as soon as something is released, keep us posted, and then we can share it also with the XR Valley, of course, because cool stuff is coming. Thank you again so much for sharing everything today. I haven't seen any questions anymore in the chat, but feel free, if there's anyone still in the audience that you come across a question later, feel free to reach out to us and we can connect you after this presentation. Anything else from your side, Tom? Or
no, it was a bit what I prepared to share today. So
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I have a couple just practical stuff to share before we round up here. The recording of this webinar will be available in the platform here and will also appear on our YouTube. Everyone that was here in the stream will receive a link to that, so you can look at it later and also share it with anyone who wasn't here and who might be interested. In case you have an idea or want to speak in one of our Tech Espressos, please reach out to us, because we're always on the lookout for cool projects and people to share here. So just for you to know. And last but not least, the next Tech Espresso will be on June 12th, before we go on a little summer break. The speakers are to be announced, but I'm going to share the link to sign up already for free in the chat here. And I think that was all for today. Also from my side, thank you again, Tom, and thank you for everyone who was here. I hope you learned something and hope to see you in the next edition. Enjoy your evening and see you soon.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Pia. And see you next time.
See you next time. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.